Hello, this is Andrew Dugill with Hoffman Realty Tampa Property Management, and this is another in our helpful blog series for Tampa landlords. And this one is called Can a Property Manager Save a Landlord Money in Tampa, Florida? And the whole purpose of this blog is oftentimes landlords who've previously managed their own properties will hire us. Maybe they got tired of the 2 a.m. calls for blocked toilets. Whatever the reason is, typically after about a year or so of us managing the property, they'll notice that, wow, my property seems to be generating more income than it was when I was managing it myself. And I'm paying this property manager a management fee. How does this happen? So in this blog today, I want to go over what are the things that a good property manager can do for a landlord that can actually improve your cash flow from your property. So the first thing, and actually probably the most important thing, is finding a good tenant. Nothing works without a good tenant. So it's very important to place a really good tenant in that property. The second thing, once you've got a good tenant, is to keep the good tenant you've got. Vacancies cost landlords money, lots of money, at least on average about 3 months every time a property goes vacant. And occasionally more than that, 3, maybe even as much as 5 months rent if there's a lot of major updates needed once the tenant moves out. So that talks to really treating that tenant properly, treating them with respect, being very responsive to legitimate maintenance concerns, and really valuing them. I mean, really, we like to think of the tenant as the asset rather than the property, because property is a liability without a tenant, right? So really, the tenant is your asset. The third thing a good property manager will do for a landlord is they will have less legal issues. So a good property manager is going to know about local, municipal, state and federal laws, and they'll also know how to operate the property with as low a liability profile as possible. The fourth thing a good property manager will do for a landlord is that they will typically better enforce their lease than the landlord will themselves. Oftentimes landlords don't want to appear too tough on their tenants, so a property manager will enforce the lease, make sure that rent gets paid on time. The fifth thing a good property manager will do is that they will have shorter vacancies. So when a tenant gives notice they're going to be leaving, the property manager is going to get their vendors lined up. If there's work that has to be done to that home, like paint, perhaps new carpet, they're going to get all those lined up. They're going to start advertising while the current tenant is there. They should have a very good comprehensive advertising program, and maybe have a tenant lined up before that current tenant even moves out, and then very quickly get the work done to get that new tenant in and the income flowing again. The sixth thing a good property manager will do is help better preserve the investment property. So a good property manager is going to be going to the property once a year to look at the major systems in the property. How's the roof? How's the air conditioning? What about the electrical system, the plumbing? What about the condition of the exterior paint, the flapper valves in the toilet, the caulk around the bathtub? So a good property manager will notice these and advise you of any major capital improvements or repairs that need to be done to protect and preserve your investment. And number 7, finally, what a good property manager will do is they'll be able to lower the maintenance costs. Property managers do a lot of maintenance, so they generally have very good relationships with repair vendors. And a good property manager should be able to negotiate wholesale prices or no upcharges for weekends or evening work. And generally, because they've got such good relationships with these vendors and the vendors really want their work, they have a lot of leverage with the vendors, and that is to the advantage of the landlord. So usually we can significantly lower the maintenance costs over what a landlord can do by themselves. So these are the 7 ways that a property manager can generate more income from a property than the landlord can themselves. If you have questions about today's blog, I'd certainly be happy to talk to you.